The mixing directions for hair color are usually located inside the box, like this. In here, you'll find your mixing ratio. A lot of times for lightener or bleach, you'll find it on the back of the bottle, or if you're using a packet, the back of the packet. It's always gonna give you a suggested ratio. It's not the gospel. You can change this, but if you're unsure, follow the directions. It's either going to be a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2. This is what we call a mixing ratio. A ratio is basically how much there is of one thing compared to another thing. If I have 3 circles, 1 is blue and 2 are violet. They're equal-sized circles. Our ratio would be 1, because we have 1 blue circle, a colon, which represents the word 2 purple circles, so the number 2. The ratio for blue to purple or violet circles is 1-to-2. We're separating our values with the colon. For us, it's going to be how much hair color to how much developer, which again is usually going to be a 1-to-1 ratio or a 1-to-2 ratio. The first number always represents your hair color or bleach. Most of the time it's going to be a 1. Your colon is separating the numbers. The last number represents how much hair color or bleach you're going to use. First number is always the color. Second number is always the amount of developer. So if I have this ratio, 1-to-1, that means I'm going to use 1 part hair color to 1 part developer. The directions on the box aren't going to tell you how much to mix up. They don't know how much hair you have. So this could be an ounce of hair color to an ounce of developer. It could be a TBSP of hair color to a TBSP of developer. It could be a bottle full of hair color to a bottle full of developer. It's equal parts. The best way to measure hair color is using a scale, which we're gonna go over at the end of this video. Typically, we'll measure hair color in ounces. A 1-to-1 ratio, to keep it simple. If I have 1 ounce of hair color, I'm gonna have 1 ounce of developer. If I have a half an ounce of hair color, I'm going to have a half an ounce. Oh, that's a terrible 5. A half an ounce of developer. But honestly, it doesn't matter what you're gonna use to measure. Back to the TBSP. If you want to use a TBSP to measure your hair color, you're also going to use it to measure your developer. Equal parts. 1 scoop of hair color, 1 scoop of developer. 2 scoops of hair color, 2 scoops of developer. If you see a 1-to-2 ratio, which is really common in your bleaches, lighteners, high lift colors, the first level tells me that is how much hair color, bleach, lightener I'm going to use. 1 part, 1 TBSP. Your second number represents the developer amount. So if I'm going to use 1 TBSP of hair color, I'm going to use 2 TBSPs of developer. If I'm weighing it on the scale, 1 ounce of hair color to 2 ounces of developer. So basically whatever unit of measurement I'm using on the first number, whether it be ounces, TBSPs, bottle full, cap full, all you're doing is doubling it for the developer. The most accurate way to measure hair color is with a scale. This is a basic kitchen scale. It's $9, I'll link it below. It's the same ones you're gonna find in the salon. The only difference is the one in the salon will say Redken and it'll be like $50. This one's gonna say ETX City and it's $9. So you turn this thing on. The unit button, you can go through and it will tell you what it's gonna measure. It measures grams, we don't need that here, milliliters, ounces, and pounds. We are looking for the ounces. Looks like this, OZ ounces. When you put your hair color bowl on this, it's going to weigh the hair color bowl. You can push the on button again and it's going to clear it out. Now it's only going to weigh what goes inside the bowl. You don't have to clear it out, but if you don't, you have to subtract how much the bowl weighs from the color, and the math starts mathing and it gets complicated. Just clear it out. If our hair color says we need to mix this in a 1-to-1 ratio, 1, 2 eyeballs, 1. Remember, this is our hair color. I need 1 part hair color. To keep it simple, we'll do an ounce of hair color. So you're gonna add this to the bowl until the scale says 1.00, 1 ounce. It's 1.02, but that's really close to an ounce, so we can match it with 1.02 of developer. Most tubes of color are about 2 ounces. On the side, it will show you what half the tube is. Half a 2 is 1, so this is 1 ounce of hair color. Once you have the hair color in, you're gonna clear the scale again. So if we did 1 ounce of hair color, we're gonna do 1 ounce of developer, because 1-to-1 is equal parts. Whatever unit of measurement, a scoop to a scoop, a tablespoon to a tablespoon, an ounce to an ounce, equal parts. Kind of how relationships should be. Equal parts coming together for one. It never works out like that though. Most of the time, relationships end up looking something like this a 1 to 2. One person always gives double, while the other person is just kind of there. What I've learned in life though is you switch roles on that. Sometimes you're the one giving double and sometimes you're the one doing nothing. And as long as you can communicate that, it works out. But honestly, don't take relationship advice from me. I've been divorced before. All right, 1 to 2 ratio. 1 ounce of hair color, because that's my first number. The hair color is always first. Hair color or bleach. Clear the scale back to 0. Now you're gonna weigh 2 ounces of developer.